Good evening. It's Saturday night. It has just gone 8 o'clock and it's time for some Doctor Who. And tonight we are doing the episode The Mutants. And joining me, of course, is Chris. Say hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Uh, yeah, third Doctor episode, The Mutants. This is a six-parter. Um, it's it's a it's a it's a it's a story. What do you know of The Mutants, Chris?
Um, Not a lot, to be honest with you, that I recall. I will probably, as usual, as it goes along, remember clips and costumes and stuff like that. But on the outset, all I remember about this that it is possibly a bit like Colony in Space in terms of its socio-political story.
So, um, it does have similar sort of vibes to Colony in Space. If I had to say anything about the mutants, I would say it's Doctor Who treading water. Um, it tries to do a lot of the similar things. It um, it has a lot of potential. I just think that it's retreading old stuff. Um, this is something that had they done this with probably the second Doctor, it'd be like, oh, this is something new and fresh. But we've seen this before, and the villain isn't particularly enticing. And I think what it is, I think there's a bit of lazy writing on the go with this episode as well. Um, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Um, this was written by Bob Baker, I should say, and I think by Dave Martin as well. Um, it's it's just the fact that this episode is, again, you've likened it to Colony in Space. Colony in Space is better than this. I think the main problem with mutants right now, before we make a start on it, things you should be aware of is the fact that it ebbs and flows, and it goes through high points and low points, and you're gonna find, oh, this episode's pretty good, but then you get to the next episode and you go, oh, this could be better, and then you get to the next one, it's like, oh, this is brilliant, but then you get to the next one, it's like, ah, and that's the way it is, it's just this, it's a bit rough, really, it's a rough around the edges, and I think we need to talk more about the characters and everything afterwards, after you see it. But I mean, the thing I would say is its biggest um, hook is the fact that the villain doesn't really pay off, and it's lazy writing for the villain, I think, because they've just made this. It's one of those ones whereby you've got the working class man and these overlords, which are literally called overlords, that are,
What? Literally, they're called
yep,
overlords.
literally called overlords.
There's a clue there.
Um, yeah, it's just this weird sort of. Oh, it's this. The setup for it is very, very straight shooting, but I think the problem is that they are trying to cover too many things at once. This is a story that's about industrialization and the faults of industrialization versus ecological preservation. It's also a story that's about working men versus hired business. It's also colonization versus colonialism and all this sorts of stuff, and it's too much in the mix. And I realise you've even got your Native American analog again in this, and it's like the kitchen sink of episodes.
Have they even got plastic is bad in there as well?
They've got something similar, yeah. They really
Excellent.
do. When I say we're talking about industrialization, it's literally a plot about having to colonize this other planet because the Earth is, over industrialized. So there's also a thing about sort of like global warming in there and stuff like that. It covers too many topics, I think. To like, had they just picked one and just settled on that, you we might be looking at a really good episode. I would say that it's it's one or two lines of a script away from being a great episode. From being a great story. But the problem is that it it's not quite there yet. The script needs another review. It needs another rewrite. And I mean, this is directed by Christopher Barry, so we know he's a great director. It's just the fact that the sets aren't brilliant. The lighting isn't great. In fact, the lighting, oh my god, the lighting in this does so much damage to the storytelling, because there are times whereby you're not sure if they're on board the sky base or on board the planetary base, because they lit exactly the same way. So you get things like that, and it's really it's really just I don't want to say a sloppy job, but there are times whereby you're watching this and it'll be like, oh, I can see why they were up against it putting this together. They could have done with another week of production just to straighten things out. But it is what it is. It's still, I think it's still got its charms. I think it's still got its its favourable points. It's got a sonic screwdriver that's really only used for opening locks.
What you mean? He's not got his sonic screwdriver's not actually a tricorder. Is that what you're telling me?
You use it to open a lock, and that's about it.
Oh, how quaint!
Yeah, it's really it's there are positive stuff to this. I don't think I'm doing it justice really, but I think that the villain is very two-dimensional and needs another look at. I think there's too many characters in this, and normally like I look at the supporting cast for Classic Who as what makes Classic Who unique to Doctor Who. In that you can't get really good supporting cast characters in modern Who. Whereas in Classic Who, it's normally the supporting cast is what the show is about. And we're just seeing it through the guise of the Doctor. That tends to be, one of the definitive traits of Classic Who, is the fact that normally it's the story about these people and we're just dropping in. Whereas with modern Who, it's about the Doctor. And that's a big difference. Whereas in this one, I kind of want to know more about the Doctor. I'm kind of more invested in why the Doctor's doing what he's doing, as opposed to what's going on. And when it does get resolved, I'll leave that till afterwards. I think I'll leave that till afterwards, because it's worth seeing it to believe it. It's probably the best way of looking at it. But yeah, I don't really. Look, it's a six-parter. In places you feel it, and we'll try to get through it. We will get through it.
Yeah, we'll.
Like I said, it could. This is one of those episodes where I do feel like it could be. They could have chopped this to a 5, or even a 4, maybe. Cut a couple of characters out and just.
It needs an edit. That's what you're saying.
Well, I don't know if it needs an edit or whether or not. Again, it needed to spend another week in production. Just to tidy it up, just to make things move in the right direction, because there's some great actors in this. There's some really good storytelling going on. It's just cluttered and a little bit muddled, and I think it's obvious storytelling as well. I think it's obvious writing, and again, the villain is a cardboard cutout. We got some interesting stuff though. I mean, like Jeffrey Palmer's in this. Um,
Well, Jeffrey Palmer's always quality.
yeah, and apparently he didn't even remember being in it. He did Doctor Who, and he doesn't remember it. Which is odd because this should be the first time he's in Doctor Who, and of course the next time will obviously be probably Voyage of the Damned. Um, I think we got yeah. This serial, this is an interesting fact. This serial is mentioned in Salman Rushdie's novel The Satanic Verses. Huh? There's a link you never thought you'd hear.
No, that's not a link I thought I was going to hear
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, and
Uh, yeah, I wasn't expecting you to say that at all. I haven't looked through all the notes of this.
yeah. Also, this was the first episode whereby they considered casting Colin Baker. As he was going to be cast in the role of Cotton, which he didn't get. He was probably busy. He's probably doing Brothers at the time. Don't realise how busy Colin Baker was. Most people only know Colin Baker from Doctor Who, but he was busy through the 70s. You know, as a young actor, he was always on the move. So yeah, have we got anything else? Okay, so this has been voted number 138 in the countdown of Doctor Who episodes. This was done on Outpost Gallifrey. 138th. Oof. I think that's a telltale sign. That's not saying it's bad, but you're talking out of a list of at the time would have been 500 episodes. So it's in the top.
Half. It's in
It's
the
in the
top
top half.
but
Yeah, it's not in the bad section. It's not in the time lapse territory.
no, mate, I've seen a poll that puts the Timeless Child in the top 10. So I mean, I won't take anything from that.
But
until I've
there's
seen
a
it.
big difference. Outpost Gallifrey was done by the fans, not the BBC, and that's a big difference. When people start, when these official posts come and it's done by people like Radio Times who are being paid by the corporation, there's don't no. But when you get a fan poll like something that was done on Outpost Gallifrey, yeah, you're gonna get a more honest response. I don't really have a hell of a lot more to say. Let's look. Let's just get in before we get into it. It was pointed out that somebody pointed out that the opening sequence to this was a bit like the start of Monty Python's Flying Circus. I pointed this out before when we done Claws of Axos, and they do a very similar thing here. But yeah, let's look. Yeah, I just want to have a quick look before we get into this because I want to see where this was. So, we've got a different film cameraman to last week, so you don't expect fantastic work. Again, this is one which is it's not like Curse of Peladon whereby people were being inventive and creative. This is very cut and dry. This is very, very studio locked in. What you would expect from a Doctor Who studio shoot. That's really all I can say. Like I said, the biggest problem with this is the lighting kills it. The lighting just absolutely murders the story. A lot could have been said given how well Curse of Peladon was lit. You're gonna see it just sort of take two barrels under the chin. But that's pretty much it, really. Let's stop me from ragging all over it, and let's get into watching it. I think I'm gonna press play. Now, I tell you what, I'm just looking over here now quickly, and it's saying that my stream is dropping like hell. So and according to BT, there's nothing wrong with my stream. Why, I'll have you know, our stream was fantastic. And of course, I then brought up this whole argument with them, and they were like, well, we don't really guarantee that. I was like, well, it's on your bloody website. And basically, their argument was that my upload speed should. I said my upload speed should be between 5 to 8 megabytes per second. You know, that's what it should be. And they were like, well, you know, we don't really guarantee that. And it's like, it's on the website. And I even showed them the link to the page, whereby they were like, oh yeah, but we don't guarantee upload speed. It's download speed. It's like, I don't care if you want to say guarantee or not. There it is on the page. I can tell you what page. I can show you the link, and you were saying that's what my speed should be. So we had a bit of an argument. We were on the phone arguing for quite some time. So in the end, it was a case of, look, if you can't guarantee me this, then I'll just go elsewhere. You know, it's that simple. But here we are. Hey, the fun of trying to do a live stream, eh? Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm just checking the stream on my phone. It's still running at the moment, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it should be. But I'm looking at it going. It's having a bit of a crap fest. That's all. Anyway, we'll muddle through it. Anyway,
soldier on.
I'm gonna press play in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I got the BritBox thing. Ting. Dee dee dee. Presented by BBC and go. Do 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 do. That's loud.
Yeah, I normally do that when I'm setting up.
Yeah. It was louder than I was expecting. So yeah, boom. Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Is that in a studio?
No, this is outside on location.
I was going to say, if you'd have said yes, this is in a studio, I was going to say, well, it looks brilliant.
No, this is location. Now, we got Rick James there playing Cotton. He also done Blake 7. So I'm looking at Christopher Calder, who plays Stubbs. And decent rap sheet.
These props again.
Yeah. Now that does come up in a later episode. a football. A badly shaped football. Bit of a repeat line there.
Yeah.
Again, it's just slightly messy.
She's not taking no for an answer, is she?
No. I think we get some decent model work in this. There's some interesting shots for the planet.
Yeah, I've certainly seen a lot worse than that in the model department
Oh
before.
yes. Now, if you are watching this on the live stream, I will apologise because it looks like we are having some serious lag.
Ah, right.
Trying to see if I can do something with this. Just try to see if we can push things up a little bit while we fix it while we stream in.
Well, seems to be running all right on my phone.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it on YouTube and it seems to be having a hell of a time. Not dressed like that, you're not, mate.
Well, you're on your own with stream mending, mate. Nothing I can do from here.
Yeah. I've tried to fix it. There's not a whole hell of a lot I can do.
Some very opposite ends of the time scale costumes going. I mean, you've
It's
got like
all over the place.
futuristic policemen and Vikings.
Yeah, it's all over the place. And yeah, it doesn't really do itself any favors, really. Like I said, it's a mishmash. It's everything. Yes. Now, he's going to try and break the circuits. He's not going to accomplish breaking the circuits for a bit because he's got to try. Which is something that doesn't happen today.
Yeah.
He just does. Or she just does. I mean, Varan is kind of part Klingon, part Vulcan.
Yeah.
Part librarian.
And part member of Slade as well, by the look of his fringe. And let's be honest, he has got a bit of a Dave Hill going on there, hasn't
Yeah. So these sets are quite nice. These I think these get reused again in what is it? I want to say I want to say Fifth Doctor.
They do look pretty well made, actually.
Yeah, probably something like Warriors of the Deep. So yeah, they get used over the next 10, 15 years quite a bit.
We'll fight to the death, and they will come feel the noise.
You get wild, wild, wild. Yeah. See, these sets look kind of nice. You know, it's only like sort of one corridor and it's one set and that gets carved up. But the way they shoot this and light this, you can't tell one place from another. Now, I quite like the fingerprint scanner for the doors. It's just, you see some people using it and it's just like, that's clearly not how it's supposed to be used.
Would have been a lot better if it hadn't wobbled then. As
if you notice, only riveted at the top.
Yeah.
But you see people not pay attention and they'll put their hand like sort of, it's there and they'll put their hand up there somewhere. And it's like, that's not how it works, clearly.
I do like the way the well, I suppose they're kind of like soldiers are all talking like 1970s London policemen. All right, sir. See what I can do, sir. How could Jeffrey Palmer have forgotten that?
It looks good though, it suits him.
Yeah.
So you can see where the plot line here is going.
Yeah. Although, as an observation, these two are selling it really well, acting
Absolutely.
wise.
Oh, look, I mean, you've got Jeffrey Palmer there, doing that, and you've got Paul Jones then as the Marshal. Um, just two fantastic actors. So it does have this um, eco message, but it's not saying, oh, it's a bad thing. It's just kind of saying this is what it is. It's
Yeah.
not the doctor giving a speech about how bad development is.
It's not Praxius or Orphan 5, let's put it
No,
that way.
they do make comments on it, and again, the Marshal and the Administrator is have already made the comments of, you know, why go back to Earth? There's nothing there. It's a dying planet.
Good job that table was there with that circle
I
on it.
know. Yeah, it's like they almost planned it. The thick plottings.
Yeah, it does.
See these corridors? It's just like a circle, and you can actually see through it. Like there's no real wall there. Yeah, that's the end of that one. It does pick up in the next one.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible though. It's
No,
kind of laying it out a bit slow,
but
but
it's just throwing in a lot of stuff. Again, you got Varan, who's like your Native American. You've got Kai, who's wants the colonists, the colonials to bugger off, so they got their own independence. So there's all that thrown in. Then you got the ecology stuff, and it's just there's a lot in the mix. Then you got the stuff with the marshal and the administrator, and it's just there's too much in there.
it is. But it wasn't particularly difficult to keep up with.
No. It's just I like you're gonna come into the episode 2 now, which I've got box giving us the little thing, and about to start episode 2 now. Dee 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 dee. So yeah, we're getting to episode 2 now, and this is a much better episode. Like it's like they could have dismissed the first episode and just put the clip notes from the first episode into this, and you wouldn't have missed anything.
Right.
Nice cliffhanger though. See now, why like this exactly the same way? This is supposed to be a different place now. It's exactly the same set.
Yeah.
Like this is where lighting really does make a massive difference. You know, this should be completely lit, totally different to how Skybase was lit.
Yeah, it would have made a difference.
Even if you liked Skybase blue and like this red, you know, it's just something simple. And it wouldn't have cost them that much to have reconfigured the set a little bit. I mean, I don't really buy the science of this, but, you know, nitrogen narcosis maybe.
Yeah.
Like, the writing for the Marshal here is one of pick the most evil thing to do, and that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, and it's not any more intelligent than that either.
Now, is that a weird musical score, or is that planetary sound
No,
effects?
it's a weird musical score.
It's nice to see Katie Manning's come dressed as David Bowie, anyway.
Well, I mean, she's with a guy who looks like a prehistoric version of Neil from Men Behaving Badly.
Yeah.
And they're being chased by police that are going to show up in Blake 7 at some point. See, no, look, the set design here is beautiful. Right? It's low key and it's a BBC set, so it's like, you know, literally half a story tall. You know, they're trying to make up for it by building a rostra. But it looks great. But the lighting is killing it.
It's also duck egg blue as opposed to being white and orange. So I suppose that does have that in its favour as well.
But all the stuff, like all the lights and blinkies and everything, you know, that make this thing set come to life, it all gets washed out in the lighting.
An angry young man, isn't he?
Yeah. That's George Pravda, by the way, who plays Jaeger, and he also plays Castellan Spandrel in Deadly Assassin.
Mm.
And if you look above there, they've got the whole twisty knob plantons, which later end up getting been used throughout Pertwee's run, and later on get used in Red Dwarf, and still get used. They still get used today. They use all the time. They're like the Wilhelm scream of set dressing. Yeah, you can see like they're just having a mess about with the scoring in this.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of the score in this, really.
Yeah. By the way, this is scored by Tristram Carey as well, not Dudley Simpson. In the nuts.
I don't know. It's less of a score and more of someone trying to tune a radio in.
Like, what? What are you doing, man? You should be. You just killed your son. Like, what was that? What the hell happened there?
I have no idea.
He's got a sword. Why didn't you kill him? See, this is quite a good looking set.
It is.
And of course, it gives John Perrier time to explore and carry props around and.
Prod things, looking things.
Yeah, see the little plantons up above John Pertwee's head, look?
Yeah.
They just like little circular cutouts with like little switches inside. And they
Yep.
just get used all the time, even today. I'm just gonna have a quick look to see the location shoot on this. So we can get a. What the hell have I put in? Chislehurst Caves near Bromley.
Alright.
And they also filmed at Blue Water Quarry as well.
Doctor Who was filmed in a quarry? Get out of it. I'm not going to believe that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, so yeah, Chislehurst Caves in Bromley and Blue Water Quarry. So again, most evil thing, that's what he's gonna do. It's just that simple. So again, they're throwing in this whole message, but they're not slapping you in the face with it.
No, it's handled in a far more storytelling way rather than a lecture telling us it's our fault.
That's the thing. Even when they do get to sort of more heavy-handed use of it, they don't blame people for it. That's just a weird insert.
That is a weird insert.
Yeah, it just goes off. That's something completely different. For a killer and a warrior, he's not much of a warrior or a killer. Rubbish. Fight like a warrior. What did he do when the guy missed him by shooting a dart at him? Run out the door. Yes, that is the microphone hanging down there.
Yes. I don't recall seeing many mic booms coming into the picture on Doctor Who actually. So that's from what I've watched while we've been doing these. That seems to be a little bit of a rarity at
Yeah.
least.
Actually, that's it there. I would have plugged up that hole in the side. There's no need to be seen through that wall.
Yeah.
There's just no need for it, and it would have looked a hell of a lot better. And again, just you know, if he had a moustache, he'd be twiddling it. Again, that's a weird effect.
Yeah, it is. It looked like it was tracking very slowly, but they were kind of staying in place. So
they should have done something else with that, even if it meant CSO in the entire screen. See, I think what I like with this set is the fact that because it's a really small set, but the way it's built, it actually makes it look bigger
yeah.
because it's built into a corner, into a triangle. I'm gonna make an odd comment though. But I really like Pertwee's little cravat thing. His like double neckerchief. It's unusual. I don't see. I don't think I've ever seen him wear it before.
It's quite an odd piece, isn't it?
Yeah, but I do quite like it. And again, yeah, this weird musical score is just all over the place.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, is it?
It's a poor showing. You got to bear in mind here as well. Like we're talking about the musical score, whereby things like the original Star Trek had a musical score, and that was, you know, 4 years earlier. You know, and we know that they had seen the original Star Trek because, you know, last week's episode was based on one of the stories. So it's not like they were blind to it.
Well, not only that, we have had, although they might be considered very heavily 70s synthesized Moogish sort of things, we have had really decent scores.
Yeah. Again, it's not Dudley Simpson doing this. It's Tristram, what's his name? Tristram Carey. And again, this is what bugs me with the 70s scores. You know, as you said, before, like Bill Bailey takes the piss out of it. This is why, because they're better scores. You couldn't kill him if you wanted to.
He hasn't managed to kill anybody else yet.
No, exactly. For a warrior, he's just a pretty poor showing. But again, it was a bit of a better episode. You know, you've got things moving along with Joe Grant. You've got things moving along with Kai. Again, Varan is a bit of a misdemeanor. The Marshals just like, I'm gonna do this because it's evil. But yeah. Ting. BritBox. Episode 3. Starting now. But, I mean, what do you think so far?
I think it's all.
Yeah.
It's intrigued me enough to want to carry on watching it and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to be taking a point off for the scoring because that's just. I honestly couldn't work out at one point if it was supposed to be the atmospheric sound of the planet or a musical score because it could have been either.
Brian Hodgson done the special sound, and he's the one. So the sound design is pretty good. He's doing all the. Brian Hodgson's doing all these peeps and boops and the transport sound there. Even the things like whereby they walk into the arboretum, and you've got all the echoey sounds and the drips of water and things like that. She's doing all the Foley. You couldn't destroy a chicken curry.
Couldn't even crush a grape.
It is laughably bad, I'm afraid, and it doesn't get better for Varan. And again, look at this place now. This is supposed to be the ground base. There's nothing that distinguishes this from the sky base.
Yeah, no, you're right. Having spent the last couple of weeks talking to you about cameras and lighting and what have you, I mean, they could have just put bleeding Quality Street packets over the lights. You know what I mean? Just to change the hue of it. I mean, it wouldn't have been too difficult.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very simple to do. I mean, they spent money on fireworks.
Gotta say, and then in the shots here, Katie Manning does look particularly lovely.
Yeah, no, you know the setups and things like that. I mean, yeah, there she goes screaming at something that looks ugly.
Don't know. I think I might scream if I saw one of them in silhouette coming in the cave. I was saying, mate. It's your favourite real flames again. Mind you, they're not in the
No,
studio
they're not in the
here,
studio
are
at all now. That's still a health and safety thing. But no, being outside is less of an issue.
they? Also, the cameras they're using outside do pick the flame up better, don't they?
Well, I mean, they're using similar cameras inside. It's just the fact that they're using different film, just total different film stock.
Yeah, that must be some new word, use of the word safe that that we haven't seen
Yeah,
before. There, it would be safer back here. 100
yeah.
monsters.
I mean, I would say this is a good use of location as well. But again, and the model work as well. I mentioned this earlier. I think it's a decent bit of model work.
Yeah, it's not too shabby at all. That.
Oh yeah, just the entire planet. Yeah. All we've got to do is change the entire atmosphere on the entire planet. Not a problem. Do you want me to change the colour of the sky as well?
You would have thought a couple of air tanks and a scuba kit would have been cheaper.
No, but no. You're just making domes like. Again, there's leaps in logic here that I just totally overlooked. Dun dun dun.
Or in this case,
Yeah, yeah. They haven't got anything that exciting yet. So yeah, the sound design is brilliant in this, by the way. The sound design does good. It does get overclocked with the music, but the sound design is good. Also, Varan can beat nothing. Those aren't Varan's clothes. He got stuck in a paper bag and couldn't fight his way out. Decent mutant costumes as well, by the way. Let's not. I'm not sure it fits with the theme. But I think they're decent costumes.
Yeah, and considering there's quite a few of them as well, they're not too bad at
Yeah,
all.
we've seen worse. See, they can use lightning.
Yep,
They
I was exactly the same thing there.
they just don't.
Well, that might be part of the a part of the thing at those particular caves, though. That might have nothing to do with the BBC.
Can you
Like, no,
imagine?
we're not turning that off. You
Uh,
have to make do.
can you imagine, like, all the credit that we're giving them for the lighting and turns out to be Bromley Caves?
Yeah. I wouldn't write it. I wouldn't write that off, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, I haven't gone to places like Wookie Hole and Dana Rogoff. I know that they do have specialist lighting for those caves.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Danny Rogoff as well, and yeah, I mean that could quite easily be the lighting for the caves and not the BBC at all.
CSO effect, yeah. It's weird that they chose to do a CSO in this when they were already at the caves filming.
Yeah,
Like, this should have just been a gobo on the lighting effect and just flashing all different lights up onto the ceiling and just swirls of lights.
unless it was a pickup shot or something, I don't know.
I mean, it could be, but then again, I don't know why you wouldn't have just had the caves, a still of the caves behind. God, his acting is.
It's not the best, is it?
I mean, oh, I don't know what to say. Like, he's like overstepping the mark all the time. Like, as they say, he's playing to the back row. Like, you know what I mean? He's
What else is making? Oh no, it's the backing music.
yeah. How do you tell one from the other? That's what I mean. The musical score is stepping over everything.
The drawing of Space Invaders.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna say something now that I don't know if it'll catch you by surprise, but see Kai there?
Yeah.
Well, he's normally known in science fiction by a different name. He's Biggs from Star Wars.
Is
yeah. He also played Batman's dad in Batman '89.
Mind you, to be fair to me, Biggs weren't in Star Wars that much.
You know. He also played Abraham in a little show called Doctor Who, in a town called Mercy with the 11th Doctor.
It's been a while since I've seen that one as
Yeah.
well.
He's also the voice of Henry Adams in Batman Arkham Knight. Great career he's had. Yeah. Garrick Hagon. Yeah, isn't it always the way? It's like putting down your keys. You left them there, but now they're gone. So I don't know if you've noticed this now, but the lighting in this has actually gotten brighter. They've actually flooded it. Yeah, they've
Has
actually
it?
flooded it with more light now. So all the shadows are now being killed. Yeah, and Paul Jones says wearing an excessive amount of makeup. I don't know whether or not that's because he's sweating a lot. He's probably hot in that costume. I would attack, but I'm a warrior.
Comes from the brave Sir Robin tribe.
For a warrior, he's spry on his feet for the 100-meter sprint.
I wonder if he was meant to fall over there.
I don't mind it though, see, because it kind of makes him look a little bit sort of foolish, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think worse than being attacked in the tunnel, is it? It's alright, you covered that last week.
Yeah. So yeah, in the opening scene of Michael Keaton's Batman, it's him that you get to see getting shot in the flashback.
Oh, right. Didn't know that.
Yeah. See, he's got quite a good rap sheet. Fair play to him. Born in 1939 and still going.
Oh, good for him.
So he's got what? He's 81.
Yeah, 81, 82, something like that.
Now I'm gonna do something evil. I'm gonna plant grenades. I mean, look, I'll hand Paul Jones a big slice here. he's got very limited dialogue to work with, but he's delivering it absolutely convincingly.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the actors they got on this particular period of Doctor. In fact, all throughout the 70s in particular, they all kind of play it like they're performing Shakespeare. You know, they're throwing everything into it.
Yeah. My knees are bent, my eyes are black, my... I'm an old man.
Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. And then the bloke we saw die in the opening scenes of the
I mean, similar? Maybe? Does it matter? He's got a twin. See, the lighting of the caves is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it is. I'm still not convinced that's the BBC doing it, mate.
Well, look, I mean, who's the film cameraman on this? Fred Hamilton. So again, you know, Christopher Barry's pulled over another person from Doomwatch. He's pulled over loads of people. Do you have a nuclear bomb? Use it. But sir, it'll kill us. Use it.
Yeah, use it anyway. Don't worry about all that killing malarkey.
So yeah, I would have said Fred Hamilton's the guy who's filming this. You also done 48 other episodes, so again, good good rap sheet on him.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what the weather's like in South Wales at the moment, but you're only about 50 miles away from me, and I am absolutely melting.
I know, I
here.
am boiling as well. Like I said, I got my fan on. Yeah, no, it does appear to be the same guy that got killed.
Oh, they did say, didn't they, that
Yeah.
the mutt's dead again. So,
Oh, come on, dude. Make an effort. I don't even know what this is. You're pretty crap at it. Yeah, again, this whole plot with Varan as well, it's just a mess. It shouldn't even be, it shouldn't
Yeah.
be there.
never walk towards the light, Joe,
Yeah.
not unless you're ready to go. Yeah, Cotton's not really convincing either, is he?
I mean, it's a difficult thing to do. He's overcoming. I think he's South African.
I mean, first of all, I just assumed it was his accent, but
Yeah,
no, he's a bit wooden as well.
yeah. He's So look, yeah, Antigua. He's from. So he's overcoming that as well.
Yeah, he is, but I mean,
The director should have had the call on it again. It feels like that they should have had another week of production. That would have been a
yeah,
massive solve. Gas.
yeah. I mean, there's British-based actors from Antigua, the Dominican Republic, and Jamaica that have been in programs like The Desmonds, Love Thy Neighbour,
Yeah.
EastEnders, and that.
Weird cliffhanger.
And yeah, it was a weird cliffhanger. And their accents don't ever seem to
No, no,
stop their acting
absolutely,
ability.
absolutely
So
not. I mean, so yeah.
you've only got to watch Death in Paradise to know that accents really don't get in the way of
No,
the
no, no.
story.
I mean, again, you're looking at a time whereby he come and done several episodes. He ended up in Blake 7, but you had people like Rudolph Walker, who am I ever saying that right? Yeah. You just click on this. So I got. Oh yeah, BritBox has just done his thing. Diddle-a-ding, diddle-a-ding. There we are. Yeah, Rudolph Walker, who was in Love Thy Neighbour, was already acting at this time, so they could have cast other people. I just feel like I think when they cast Rick James, that he just wanted a bit more diversity in the cast.
I would like to say while we're talking about him, Rudolph Walker is he's a superb actor. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in The Thin Blue Line.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Classic.
Would you like to see my impression of an elephant? Just pulls his pocket out. I think you'll find it's Marty McFly.
Yeah, he's going to put a set of headphones and play you some Edward Van Halen.
That's how you walk up Joe. And again, like I don't want to rain on people's parades here, but the costumes in this isn't particularly great. The costumes are kind of like, oh yeah, this is a sci-fi costume department. So
Yeah. It needs to have some shiny silver on it.
yeah. So you think it's Marty McFly, but actually, it's Strickland. Slacker. He's part Mr. Strickland and part Death from Bill and Ted.
With a side of Richard O'Brien and the singer from Midnight Oil.
Yeah. Again, Richard O'Brien would have made a good Doctor.
Yes, he would have done.
Probably the one person that should have been cast as the Doctor and never got cast.
Yeah. I'd throw Anthony Head into that mould as well.
Very different though.
Yeah, very different. But well, I told you before, didn't I? When we had a dog here for a while, and we was having it trained, and the person that was coming and helping us train the dog was friends with the head family
Yeah.
because his wife does the animal training, didn't she? And I actually sent a message. I said, "Can we next time you speak to him, tell him, ask him why he's not Doctor Who yet?"
So look, yeah. Jesus, calm yourself, Kai. Calm yourself. So again, no, they've got the scientist now that's gone hippie. Um,
And when the experiments don't work, I'm going to become an Olympic swimmer.
yeah, yes, Mr. Goodwho.
I can't really say anything about that, other than what a sensible haircut that chap's got.
And then he's going to put some side computers on the side of his head and go live in Cloud City.
Or move in next door to Richie and Eddie.
So it is worth noting, John Hollis actually is the android guy from Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he actually is, yeah.
Oh, you know what he was doing 10 years later then?
Yeah, he is Lando's aide Lobot.
Oh, I weren't expecting that while we was watching this.
Well, you've got Biggs.
Biggs, Lobot. I mean, you never know who else is. Oh,
Uh,
message was for him as well, was it? Yes, at least you can see some light.
oh, that's okay. What have I done?
He seems to have aged rather quickly for 9 years.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
yeah. I think the lighting isn't doing him any favors.
Yeah, certain parts of this set you can see the lights in dribs and
Yeah.
drabs.
But you know they should be popping. That should be in shadow.
Yeah, they should be.
You know, there's no need to be flooding everything with so much light. Look how much light is it? This must be a cave set. Adam West's Batcave didn't have this much light, didn't it?
The definitive Batcave, I might add, for the definitive Batman.
Weird stretchy camera effect there.
Yeah. What is that all
I
about?
don't know.
I mean, why? There's no reason. If it was actually sort of like expanding and contracting like a concertina sort of thing because of the explosions and the rocks falling, fair enough. But that's just
Yeah, just yeah.
the hell is that all about?
Oh yeah, he was in Superman. In particular, he was in Superman 2. John Hollis. He's the Elder of Krypton that appears before Lex Luthor. He does the trees. I shall never know that I should see a poem as lovely as a tree. And then Lex pulls the crystal out and goes, Miss Tessmarker says, I like trees. And so does the average cock spaniel. That's John Hollis.
I know they're really easy to do in
Hmm.
that, but those tablets are quite nice little props.
The problem is that the production here has done a really good job. It's just the way it's been put together. The lighting is overdone, and that's due to the the cameraman and the stage setup.
Yeah,
The
it
music,
is a bit
this
saturated.
weird bloody effect.
See, that looked a bit better then because it was shaking, but I still don't understand why it's stretched out
No,
like a parallelogram.
you got this lighting for the cave, and you got this smoke effects, and like you can't really see there, but the cave has been smoked as well. So you can just see where he's standing now. Where it's a bit thicker.
Yeah,
So they've done this to add atmosphere to it. The props are good. Most of this production is really, really solid. It's the execution. I mean, that's a bit of a leap. It could just mean like somebody was bored drawing snails.
yeah. Or whoever made that was a massive fan of the Sega Dreamcast.
Like, why is the stretch cam? What is this about?
Yeah, that is a really weird decision because there's no explanation
No,
for it.
there's nothing. There's no rhyme or reason for it. And again, like you might not be able to see this, but see, there's little wisps of smoke being fed through pipes
Yeah,
that just dropping dry ice down the wall. There's some really good decisions being made here, and you can see how the production's using it to its advantage. It's just when it gets to the studio, you get. I mean, I don't want to point this out, but all the overlords wear helmets, like all of them. Have you seen an overlord without the helmet on? I think we know the answer to that. What's the odds on Varan fighting to the death?
well, is death maybe?
He's the only man to try committing suicide 72 times and has failed. I mean, this does play off later on with people like David Tennant playing the Doctor, whereby the radiation's not that much of an issue for a Time Lord.
Unless someone knocks 4 times, then the radiation's going to
Yeah,
kill
I
you.
mean, there is a rad limit, obviously.
Forgive him for that though, because Bernard Cribbins was in it.
Yeah. And once again, nobody is dead. Nobody. The only thing that's dying is the script. Now, I bet that was a bloody pain. They're doing a CSO overlay and he's wearing a silver suit. I'd be willing to bet they had to do some real work on that.
So is he passed out or is he dead?
I think he's passed out. From what I remember.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure he comes back into it later. Like, this should have just been shot on location with a really bright light.
Yeah, I mean we've seen that they've had the lights in the caves. They could have quite easily have put some locked off lights in with swirly effects
It's
on
just a
them.
fiberglass shell and just a plow a bunch of light through it. Just literally like a big, huge spot. Like, you blast light into that lens and you're going to just blow out the camera. And it looks fabulous. Particularly if you're putting it all into one place. Like, you know, that middle part there. And they could have done it with, you know, reflective paint as well. So they could have just been just gunning the photons at that. It would look brilliant. Instead, they've gone for wackadoodle psychedelic hoo-ha. Farron Suicide Squad.
We are now the people's front of Solaris.
Yeah.
Splitters.
I've only just got a bed. Like, nobody sleeps in this.
Well, if it takes 2,000 years to go all the way around an orbit of the sun, I would imagine the days are quite long. So
And then we'll do something evil.
don't forget, do something evil, you've got to give it the old.
I intend to blow it up. I want you to make a Jaeger bomb.
Oh, that was beyond poor. That was so bad, it's funny.
You mean the appalling acting? I mean, you see now they've just jumped 2 sets now,
Yeah.
and like, where are they? Are they on the base? Are they on the floor? Are they in the sky? I mean, they've just gone from one to another.
I'm assuming they're in the sky,
Yeah.
but I could be
I
wrong.
know. Weird camera angle. I don't know why the hell that's touched. Like, that's supposed to be a 30th century computer, by the way. 30th century technology.
It's amazing. I want one.
They're using this super advanced technology called tape. See, the production on this must have been massive to have smoked those caves out, to have laid the pipes for dry ice and all this stuff, and then get ballsed up in what I can only consider to be stage management, production, and edit. Yeah, there we go. That's quite effective. That's not so effective. Now imagine the production decision here. You've just done the whole wall has just been blown out, and you want to make it look like they're in space. So instead of putting a black cloth with sequins on it and making it look like you've just done like the curtain that you did for 10 Forward in Star Trek The Next Generation,
Yeah.
you decided to CSO it and make it look like this really crappy effect. Like and it doesn't even rotor with camera movement. So you move the camera, and that picture stays in one place, and the set moves around the image.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it?
I mean, and it's a dumb decision because, as well, you've got, the marshal there who's in front of the CSO, and you can see his hair is blowing, so you can see all the fringing and everything, and it's just, why would you make that decision? All you need is a black cloth. I mean, Episode 5. We getting it.
I've just had the mutants flash up on my screen.
Oh.
How far away am I from you?
I know. I've got cotton lying on the floor, holding people with this really awful fake decompression. The doctor's just walking out of a tunnel.
Just had an explosion.
Yeah, bang. There we go. That's where I'm at. Bang. And again. Bang. Boom. Again, a Jaeger bomb.
Long before Jaeger bombs were a thing.
Yeah. That's the worst. I mean, they could have put a bloody fan on them. I mean, there should have been smoke effects in there. There should have been everything sort of just blasting around. It should have been like a hurricane in that.
Yeah. That was a very strange shot between someone's legs.
Yeah. Now, you might be asking yourself, where the hell did he get that cape from?
Has he not had that on and off through the whole thing?
No. I mean, he had it earlier on, but he didn't have it when he went down on the hunt, and he didn't have it when he got back. It just shows up. Yes, but I'm going to say she did. And again, there are leaps in logic here like that people are just going to be happy to go along with this, and I mean, he's only in the middle of an execution.
He's looking at you. Love all the boys in the firing squad.
Yeah.
Jaeger sounds an awful lot like Eric von Daniken.
Yeah, people being loyal is one thing, but so look, yeah, I just want to. Oh wow, he was General.
What have you
Uh,
discovered?
so George Pravda was General Borov in Firefox by Clint Eastwood.
Oh, right. That's the guy that played Jaeger, yeah?
Yeah, and he was also in Thunderball. It's amazing that some of the acting careers you see you just don't expect them to show up in places that they do.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting to see the guy that played Lobot in this.
Yeah.
Or the guy that played Biggs, it's just, yes. But then there was a lot of careers that started in, British television, particularly shows like Doctor Who and
Yeah.
that.
Um, but I mean, John Scott Martin in this, he was, you know, he's a lot of character stuff. He was in Little Shop of Horrors. And he was in Pink Floyd The Wall.
Yeah, The Wall was another one for British actors that you'll recognise. Very angry fellow, the Marshal,
That's
wasn't he?
all he is, and I'm afraid that's the only note he hits right the way throughout. Like, he's got no sense of humour, there's no quirk. And look, it's not the actor,
No, of
Paul
course
Jones
not.
is
It's the
doing
direction, isn't
exactly
it?
what he can do with it, and he's playing it as convincingly as he can. I mean, it's what's given to him in the script, really. Christopher Barry's doing a real decent job with the directing. He's trying what he can. I mean, you can clearly see there's a big difference between the camera setups on live film cam on location than there is in the studio.
Yeah.
So I would have said the biggest problem is probably production. Production time.
Be careful you don't run into that twig. Now, is that the transfer station or is that the ship? Oh no, he's going up to the ship now, isn't he?
But again, you watch this now, and this doesn't even change. this moves the camera like 6 inches to the left. Like, how are you supposed to keep up with this? Like, who's coming, who's going?
Yeah, so it's a good job there was no one transferring down at the same
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I think everybody can guess.
Well, if you fail, no hot chocolate for a month.
Yeah. Mad? Am I mad? Yes, you're mad. Terrible.
That wasn't such a good model
Yeah,
shot, by the
terrible
way.
model shot.
Oh, it's bloody chair and it's squeaking. When I move to my new streaming space, I'm going to make sure I've got a chair that don't bloody squeak.
You just imagine what this set would have looked like if it was lit properly and allowed all the light to really shine.
Yeah.
This could have looked really good. Like this could have been a real top job.
Yeah, like you say, it's got too many lights
It's
on.
just killing it. And everything's backlit and overlit and just... No.
One decent light, top and central would have worked there.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were going to say?
No, it's like this here. No, there's a lot of props that they've been used. I'm pretty sure that what he's sitting on there is the top of a bin. Or a footstool for supermarkets. For stocking shelves. So, they pool in a lot of props and everything. And these set designs here with the sort of the atom swirl on the wall. The production has made a really good effort on this. It's just not coming off.
Even the little laser pistols look pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. You looked like you got shot in the ass. It did, it did. You have a look where that flash originated.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it's just weird. There's weird stuff going on here in the edit, and I mean maybe even some of the direction here.
This camera angle here, that center unit looks a very bit R2D2ish, doesn't it?
Yeah. This bloody music is terrible.
Music.
It is really bad, isn't it?
It's not even music. It's I don't know what it is.
Playing with the electronics. Pertwee's props.
I'm surprised he's not got a stylophone and doing the music for us.
And the music would still suck. I mean, he's not even playing notes at this point. He's just buggering around with a bloody pitch.
It's a better pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah. You went from looking like people, and now you're, you know, a BBC prop.
Big insectoids.
Yeah, which have trouble communicating. They've de-evolved.
Oh, I was getting some air to my ears. It's
Yeah.
bloody hot here. The trouble is, for all our conversations about lighting something up, what do lights produce?
Yeah. Yes, but in the midnight hour, she cried more, more, more. Look at they've clearly broken something there. Because if you look on the set there, you can see the patch-up job on the side of the prop, whereby there's a smudge mark where they just rolled something and it's not even the same colour paint. Well, what?
Get out of that one, Rommel.
Yeah, I'm not sure the scale matches. You know, the those windows there, if they to scale with that ship, then those windows have got to be 20 foot around. Oh, something weird just happened there.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but there you go. We normally get one of them a week.
Yeah.
Don't know about you, but I'm missing Stubbsy.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. That's the end of that one. So, again, like I said, this story ebbs and flows. You get episodes that are good, and then you get episodes that are just fall on their ass.
Yes, some of it is very slow moving, isn't it?
Yeah, this didn't have any right to be a six-parter. It just didn't.
No, it would have been chopped down to a 4. I can see what they were trying to do, but it's not always paying off. It's hitting a lot of marks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, BritBox. Ping. Presented by BBC. And diddly 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 dee. Doc True.
Doc True.
Doctor Who. The Mutants. By Bob Barker and Dave Martin, episode 6.
Yep, I'm close enough.
I get, yeah, you know, we're getting through it. You know, it's. Again, sci-fi outfits, nothing.
Oh, I don't know. They're all managing to keep a straight face with that going on.
Yeah. 30th century clothing, apparently.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Gallifrey light, doesn't it?
Yeah. '30th century paper.
Oh yeah, got to have it. That's because various up-to-date modern tablets won't be around that time.
So I mean, they're starting to lean on the racist slant here, but it's really been very thinly painted on throughout the story.
Yeah, it's it's a bit tacked
It's
on, isn't it?
very tacked on. It's again, it's this story trying to do too much in one go. Like pick a path and go for it. I mean, I'm not sure that's the wisest of plans, but there we are.
No, it looks slightly suspicious as well.
uh,
On the whole, though, I don't think it's a terrible episode. It is one of the weaker ones we've seen in recent weeks.
Again, there's leaps in logic that you just couldn't do. You shouldn't do. You shouldn't be in the story. Like this whole thing with the investigator. You would not have the accusers and the defendants in the same room at the same time while you're conducting the investigation. You take one into a room by themselves and interview them.
Well, perhaps it's different in 30 centuries.
Yeah, they've clearly evolved to the point whereby they can't think logically.
Doctor does not agree.
Yeah.
The strange colour choice for the investigators party as well. I mean, metallic salmon
It's
is not a colour. It's weird, isn't it?
it's a strange costume choice to begin with. But it's all weird costume choices.
It is. I mean, yeah, I never thought I'd say it about this sort of outfit, but the only real normal costume other than the Doctor's is Joe's, but it's very, very 1971,
Yeah,
isn't it?
oh yeah.
You know, like I said at the beginning, I keep expecting her to break into a verse of Starman by Bowie.
But I mean, like, everything's just laid on too thick. You know, again, this guy who's, Professor Hippie.
What direction do you give the guys in the suits? I mean,
I don't know. For me personally, it would be more animated.
yeah.
Like, there's a guy in the middle there. The costume's too tall for him, and the actual knees have dropped below the knees. You see now, this just reeks of this sort of anti-racism type deal.
Yeah, I mean, anti-racism stuff is
Yeah,
good, but it could be handled a lot
yeah. I
better.
mean, it's
Much better.
ham-fisted. It's been 6 episodes built into to. See again, like this guy. He's supposed to be the investigator. Like, well, you're only going to spend 5 minutes investigating.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to investigating than just simply asking
Just
questions.
standing and just going, oh yeah, okay. It's taken me 60 days to travel here via light speed, and I'm going to investigate this and be off within the next 10 minutes. I mean, the only reason for having these people in the same room at the same time while conducting the investigation is for cheap drama.
Yeah, yeah, no shadow of a doubt with that. I don't mind the transportation effect too much, just that blue. At least it's there and it functions rather than trying to overdo it with loads of flashing colours and stuff like
Yeah.
that. There it is.
Mhm. Like, why? 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 What? For what? Why?
I have no idea. He must have just seen. Was he watching then for a
I
minute?
know. There's no. I mean, there's a massive leaps in logic. Things just stop making sense. Like it's a bit ham-fisted.
I've got props to use
Yeah.
here. Don't rush me while I'm prop
Yeah. Well,
using.
I'm doing business. Yeah. We did lock that door, Joe.
I've come to the conclusion that the marshal was just a bit of a twat, really.
Every single time. Think of the most evil thing you could do, and that's what he'll do every time.
I think I'd punch him on the nose and then
I mean,
hurry.
this is the thing. He's right there. He's right there. What's to stop the doctor from knocking him on his ass? Like when you start making leaps, like I said, you just come with that just because that's what you would have done. Well, why didn't the doctor do it? He's threatening.
I mean, I know the doctor's a pacifist and that, but sometimes you
He
just
beat
got to.
the crap out of their bloody soldiers earlier on.
Yeah.
He was knocking them out 7 weeks from Sunday.
It's not exactly the effects from American Werewolf in London,
No.
is it? Not by quite some distance. Because I still don't know how they did some of that.
Yeah, it's very well done.
And that,
It's the prettiest metamorphosis effect. It looks painful and horrific.
New Earth, eh? When are they going to get the cat priestesses in?
Oh, that's new Earth.
Yeah, well, that's also spelled NU as well, isn't it? New Earth.
No, he's playing a totally different character now. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just become Q apparently.
With a nice rainbow
Yeah.
outfit. Not just any rainbow, a scrolling rainbow.
Again, just CSO effect. The thing is that they're not even trying at this point. I don't think.
Yeah, this is not the best episode, is it? I have to be honest, it did start off more promising than I was expecting from what you gave away in your preamble before we started, but it's kind of gone downhill. It's
Yeah.
it's well in the trough at the moment.
Yes, the doctor flipped the wires over. There we go. In a moment, after I stand here, bang. Yeah, and he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you call a mega rushed ending.
Thing is, it didn't need to be that complicated to try and.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, she's not the fastest at catching on.
No, but that was a nice, decent Doctor moment.
Yeah.
Oh, they had to fit that joke in, didn't they?
And there you go. It ends the same way as it started. And that's the end of that. And boy, is that a dredge to get through.
Yeah, that did that. After the first two episodes, that really dragged on. The first two episodes I found rather intriguing. I wanted to see them.
Yeah,
They could have squeezed the rest of it into two, definitely.
absolutely. And the thing is, as well, is that, like I said, you get better episodes. Like episode 4 is pretty decent. And at the ending of episode 4 there, where you get the decompression, whereby the side of the ship blows out, all that sort of stuff. It's all pretty decent stuff. It's just the fact that it's just lagging, because there's too much stuff in there. There's literally too much story in there, and they're trying to tell every story. You've got the warrior race people, which we don't ever get really see the payoff on that. We don't get to see what happens to the mutants. Really, we hear about it in a quick little thing right at the end. We don't really get much in the way of closure throughout, and the problem is that because they've layered so much stuff in, it's impossible to concentrate on any one thing, and you can't tell a story that way. A production is all over and production that did the best job they could with what they were given.
Yeah.
You're talking about the sets that they built looked great, just were abused by the lighting. And that, again, that's camera lighting. So whoever was the camera lighting man for that set, that would have been the guy in charge. You can clearly see that there's a big difference between the film cameraman for the location and the studio. So because the location shots all look great, and there's a big distinction there. There's a huge, I mean, but even when they would do things like the teleport shot, why would you keep not only the lighting the same, but why would you only move the camera like 6 inches to the left? It's essentially doing the pickup in the same shot.
Yeah, I mean, but then the notes I'm looking at here says that Bob Baker felt this was the best story that he and Dave Martin wrote, although Martin admitted the execution wasn't the best.
No shit.
It could have been the best story that they wrote if it had been, like you say, had another rework of the script and chopped down to 4 episodes, cut out some of the real slow pace stuff.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think I've got a fix for this story. Right, I want to get around to talking about it in a bit, but I want to go through with you first. Like, we obviously mentioned the music, but what for you was the high point of this story?
I think for me the high point in this story was the who done it, what's going on investigation thread that it started on at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think once we'd got to that and it started to unfold, and fall apart. But yeah, the first couple of episodes I thought were really strong. It really pulled me in. I was like, oh right, this is going to be an intriguing story. Carwin doesn't know what he's talking about. This is going to be good. And then Carwin does know what he's talking about, because after them two, it was like, And like you said, it did have its ups and
Yeah,
downs. And episode 4, it picked up again, but the last 2 episodes were,
and then the last
uh,
episode rushes right to the end
yeah,
in the
it
last
sort of
10
goes
minutes.
drag, 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 then
Yeah. Um, I mean, for me, I like Paul Jones. Is acting as the marshal. He's the one of the probably the most sincere delivery of anyone in the cast. I mean, having him act off with John Pertwee is lovely. It's just a shame of what he did with the character because he couldn't handle the character. There's nobody could have. You could have
no.
handed that to Meryl Streep and she'd have struggled. And
Uh,
that's the way it is.
yeah, so if we're talking about that sort of high point, then for me it was the it was only a couple of minutes long, but it was the exchange between Paul Jones and Jeffrey Palmer, back at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And that was superb.
Yes.
But that's when the Marshal had a particular sort of character before he went
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. I mean, that's when he was talking about putting his life into this and putting having worked on Solos for so many years and this being his life's work and that sort of stuff went away and it just became, oh, I'm racist.
Yeah.
And then but that happened like end of episode 5, start of episode 6, like like this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm racist and I'm mental.
Yeah. So that, I mean, like we've mentioned lows, the music.
Oh, what music?
Yeah.
The only music I heard throughout all of that was Ron Grainer's theme. Other than that, there was no music. It was like someone just put a load of cat treats on an organ, chucked a few kittens on it, and let them get on with it.
Can you see my point now? Whereby when they remaster something, why they should do the music as well?
Yeah, yeah. On things like that, definitely. There's some that we've seen where I thought the music was fine, but on this, there was no music. It was just sounds.
Yeah, it was just noise, and it's look. I agree with a lot of people that when you've got the original, that you should respect the original. So that's fine, respect the original, but give me a special edition where that doesn't exist in it. Give me an episode whereby it's rescored, recut, so that it doesn't have that stuff in it. The CSO effect where the wall blows out into space. We talked about this when it happened at the cliffhanger. There was no need to do CSO there.
No, not at all.
Zero.
I mean, you showed recently on your other channel how easy it is to knock up the space effects. You know what I mean?
Funny thing, isn't it? I mean, like it literally. How simple was that? How difficult was it for me to do? You seen it? So I mean, it just. This is just a happy coincidence. I'd even forgotten that scene was in this. There's some this really good work on the part of the production. Like I said, the look for the style of Skybase, it looks good. The interior sets look good. They hammer too much light into it. Wait, I mean, you compare the light into Curse of Peladon compared to this, and there's.
I mean, it's hard to believe there was only one story in between these two. This looks like stories, lighting wise, from two completely different eras. And yeah, you're right. That was a really, really well made set, and it's like they put 4 great big floodlights in it because it was just totally washed out.
So on that set there, lighting wise, they'd have probably had 15 lights above.
That's mad. So it weren't until you pointed it out that I actually realised there was any lights in any of the panels in the background. There was one shot a bit later on where I can't remember if it was Jaeger or the Doctor walked past one of the panels, and there was a slight bit of shadow cast, and for a split second you could see these lights on there.
Yeah, a little bit of red and blue coming through. Yeah, I know it kills the set. It totally kills the set, and this is this sort of thing does plague Doctor Who in the classic series right the way throughout. I mean, even it gets worse towards sort of the late 70s, early 80s, whereby the TARDIS, the best you ever see the TARDIS look is when there's supposed to be a malfunction because the lights go out. And
Yeah.
you get the roundels backlit, and you get to see the TARDIS console lit up properly, and the central rotor lighting properly. There's no need to, and what it's come down to is the fact that, now if I understand this correctly, they would act on lighting a scene for a studio so that people wouldn't complain that they couldn't see it on their TVs. But that's not saying that they had complaints that they couldn't see it on their TVs. They doing it so that they don't get complaints, even though nobody's complained. Like,
No, I mean, one of the best, and we rated it quite highly when we did our TARDIS countdown.
mm-hmm.
But one of the best TARDISes I've ever seen is literally the one that I'm sat in front of. I mean, look at it. Look at the light. I know that's a 3D CGI representation by Lewis Thompson.
Yep.
But it's still it's still fairly close to what we had on the show, and it's a fantastic. And look how unlit it is.
Yeah. I mean, well, again, no, it's well lit. That's the thing. It's well lit.
Yeah. It's well lit, but it's not like a Litius Maximus like that set was.
I don't want to give them too much of a harsh criticism because obviously, it is difficult lighting. But here's the thing, you like with a light meter, right? You have this light meter like that, and you go right then. What's the light? Right, I put it over there. Right, okay. So that's giving me the meter in there. All right, I've put in. I'll adjust the light meter so I'm using ASA 200, and then I'll take a light reading and go. Oh, okay. Right, I need f-stop at 5.6, and there we are. That's the aperture. Yeah, we should be good to go. We're running on 25 frames a second. There we are, and that tells you what your light should be. That's why you use these bloody things. But I mean, they clearly everything's overlit, so they can just light every camera the same, light everything, so they don't have to take measurements. It's rushed through. And it shows because literally you could tell when Fred Hamilton, I think that was his name. I will go back and check just quickly, but when he lit, for
film cameraman Fred Hamilton.
Yeah, there you go. When he lit for the caves, I mean, totally different lighting, totally different.
Yeah, well, the person we should be blaming here for the studio lighting is Frank Cresswell.
Yeah, that's all I can say really. So, what do you think of the visuals in this?
I think some of them work pretty well. Even though it did look a bit like an Artex ceiling for a fisheye, I did quite like the effect of the planet when Joe and the Doctor were looking out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the model shots were pretty good. The sets, if they'd have lit them differently, as we were saying during the episode, the sets were pretty good. They didn't look like a load of cardboard and plasterboard.
Yeah.
They looked like they really were what they said they were. And obviously, I mean, going to real caves, the caves are going to look like caves, aren't they? There's no way around it. Although why they that you picked up on, why they had to have a CSO effect for certain parts, like when Joe met Sondergaard, and then when the Doctor went down the same bit. There's so much more they could have done with that by not doing anything and just using the caves.
Just again, I would have said just blast light into the camera. The camera lens, particularly when you're dealing with photosensitive film, you are dealing with something whereby you can actually get a really good effect by just literally banging light straight into the lens. I don't know if there's any power in this, but like there might be. Oh, there's a little bit. But you can just do like this little sort of boom. Like this is off one LED, right? So you get this really powerful sort of spot right there off one LED, right? That's a and that these are on dead batteries, right? So you could put a little bit of light in. Well, you can see the lighting effect I've got here by having. I mean, I've got 4 lights on here now. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, yeah. But you can splash light into the lens, and it'll, particularly if it's concentrated, you can get this really, really fine effect because what you've got is the iris of the lens, and inside the iris of the lens, you've got obviously the cut, which makes the iris. And you can get these streaks of light and everything. It's how pretty much similar to how they did the effect for. I mean, they were using solarizing film, but you can get a similar sort of effect to how they did the opening to the Peter Davison Doctor Who thing. You know, where you get the star streaks.
Yeah.
And you can get all things like that from just creating a light effect, and it wouldn't have even mattered if they overlaid an effect over that. So they could have filmed something with a live in the cave with live light, so you'd have had reactionary light, and then they could have just overlaid an effect over the top of it, as opposed to again doing CSO. I mean, I don't even understand. Maybe this is because this is a new toy at the time, but everything got CSO'd. I mean, there was CSO in a guy in a silver suit. I can't even begin to tell you what the problems are there.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, production wise,
production
I'll
is
be
solid.
honest, the sets were beautiful. It was just let down by the studio lighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that. So I mean, props as well. Some of the props in this, I think, work really well. They're not 100% great. Like but some of the little things that I like were the little communicators that they had, where
Yeah, they were pretty good.
yeah, they had these sort of funky buttons on them and needles and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff like that. I weren't too keen on